Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. Right, so today I would like to share with you the suggested solution for past year question June 2020. Alright, so let's get started. So this is the question. So I hope you have the question with you, right? If we can read it together, Cosmo Bahar is a brick manufacturer that closes its books on 31st December each year. The company has 10 years of experience in manufacturing range of bricks. Due to increasing demand from customers, Cosmo Bahar acquired a showroom, right? So a showroom in Selayang on 1st April 2017. The showroom is convenient for potential customers to view the company's range of bricks, which leads to potential placement of orders for Cosmos bricks. The showroom was acquired at a price of 240,000, right? So this is the purchase price, and they had to pay 7,500 for legal fees and also 2,500 stamp duties on their sales and purchase agreement. Cosmo expects to market its brick from the showroom about 20 years. This showroom has significant components which are electrical system and roof, which representing 15% and 30% respectively of the initial cost of the showroom. These two components are also expected to have an estimated useful life of 5 years and 10 years respectively. Right, so for the depreciation method, it uses straight line on a monthly basis. So let's look at the first question. Describe the term asset, right, in accordance with the conceptual framework for financial reporting in Malaysia, right? So like what I've mentioned to you in the previous slides, I mean your teaching, on the during the lecture slides from previous lectures video, on other lectures video, right? So this is the definition of asset from the view of conceptual framework. It is a present economic resource controlled by the entity. So you have rights over the asset, right? So over the item that you bought, right? Next, it is a result of past events, right? And that economic resources mentioned here is a right for you, right? That has the potential to produce economic benefits, right? Meaning to say that you will use this particular item that is can be called as asset if it can produce you potential economic benefits, right? Okay. Next, explain briefly whether the showroom in Selayang, right? The showroom in Selayang can be classified as PPE in accordance with MFRS 116 Property, Plant and Equipment. Right, so let's revise the definition of PPE. Right, so the first one is MFRS 116 Property, Plant and Equipment defines PPE as tangible items, right? So it has to be tangible items, right? It means that it has physical in nature. So the first thing that you have to remember is the feature, right? The feature is tangible items that are held for use in the production or supply of goods or services for rental to others or for administrative purposes, right? These are all the functions of this item, right? Function of this PPE item, right? Next, these items are expected to be used during more than one reporting period. So the third element is actually about the period of usage. So remember that you must have these three elements in order for it to be recognized or meet the definition to meet the definition of property, plant and equipment. So let us look at the answer here. Right, so since the question asks you to explain briefly whether the showroom in Selayang can be classified as PPE, you have to answer, right, whether it is yes or no, right? So here the answer is yes, showroom in Selayang can be classified as PPE because it is tangible item, right? You have to explain why you call it as tangible item because related to the question itself. Right, so which it has physical form made of bricks and mortar, right, and it is held for supply of goods, right, and the evidence is that it is used to market the Cosmos bricks to potential customers. Number 3, the third element, it is expected to be used for more than one reporting period, right, which is for 20 years. Right, so remember that you have to give the decision yes or no, and of course the reason why you say yes. Next, describe the criteria of showroom in order to recognize as PPE in the company's financial statement. Right, so the recognition criteria of PPE as per MFRS 116 PPE, it is probable that future economic benefit will flow to the entity and the cost can be measured reliably, right? So this is the recognition criteria of the PPE, right? So how can you answer this question, right? The showroom can be recognized as PPE in the financial statement, right? So you have to give your decision whether it can be or cannot be recognized. So for this one, it can be recognized as PPE because, right, it is probable that future economic benefits associated with the showroom will flow to the Cosmos Berhad. How? By sales of bricks to the customers, right? Okay, next. The cost of the showroom can be measured reliably. How can you measure the cost reliably? Based on the initial cost, right? So that's the answer. Next, after the initial recognition, expenditure on the showroom and its components will continue to be incurred over its useful life. Explain briefly the accounting treatment on the cost of the repairing damaged electrical control due to lightning strike. Right, so first you have to identify the reason for repairing the damage. Right, so this is just a revision for you, right? So the reason of this repair is because the electrical control panel is damaged. Thus, it needs to be repaired so that it can operate in its normal operation like it used to be before, all right? So next, number 2, you have to identify the effect after the repair. So what happened after you repair? So after you repair the electrical control panel, it will operate in like it used to be, right? Meaning to say that it can operate in the normal situation like it used to be before, all right? Next, you have to identify whether it is cost or revenue whether the cost is revenue or capital expenditure based on number 1 and 2 just now, right? So here we can call it as revenue expenditure and expense of the software. Why? Because the effect, right? So because the effect after the repairs is just to make it to operate like it used to be, right? Meaning to say that in normal situation, like it's normal situation, right? Meaning to say it does not enhance any values or whatsoever of that particular electrical control panel. Therefore, we can call it as revenue expenditure. All right. So next, after the initial recognition, expenditure on the showroom, right? So this is actually the answer, right? So just the answer. So the cost to repair the damaged electrical control panel due to lightning strike is to ensure. See, this is how you answer this question, right? So you give the reason why you have to um, repair the damage, right? Because to ensure that the electrical system is back to operate in proper order, in normal situation like it used to be, right? So the effect after the repair, it does not increase the future economic, right? So it does not increase the future economic benefits, like I said just now in previous slides. It's just to make it working in its normal condition, like it used to be before, right? So since it has no increase that there is no increase of future economic benefits, therefore this causes revenue expenditure. So what happened to revenue expenditure? It will be expense of the shopper. All right, so next, explain the components of initial cost of purchase of property, plant and equipment, right? So the first component is, of course, the purchase price, including the import duties and non-refundable purchase taxes after deducting trade discounts and rebates. Number two, any directly attributable cost to bring the assets to the location and condition necessary for it to be capable of operating in the manner intended by the management. And the third element is, or the third component is, the initial estimate at present value of the cost of dismantling and removing the item and restoring the site on which it is located. Right, so these are the elements, right, that you have to remember for the initial cost of property, plant, and equipment. Alright, next, calculate the initial cost of the showroom, right, based on the elements that we have looked at earlier in previous requirement. So now the requirement asks you to calculate the initial cost. Right, so the initial cost, of course, will comprise of the purchase price, 240,000, plus or add the legal fees and also stamp duty. Alright, so the purchase price is the first element or the first component of the initial cost, right? And legal fees and stamp duty is the directly attributable cost, which is the second component, right? So in this question, it does not have the third element, which is the present value of future cost, right? All right. So next, calculate the depreciation expenses as at 31st December 2017. All right. So showroom, right? So showroom is our PPE, right? In this showroom, it has three main components, which is the first one is electrical system, and the roof of the showroom, and of course the showroom building structure, right? So we need to identify this because it's stated that the showroom is actually 100% of the initial cost, right? So what about the electrical system? In the question, it does mention to you that the electrical system comprises of 15% of the initial cost. The roof of the showroom comprises of 30% of the initial cost. And what about the showroom building structure? How many percent does it comprise of the initial cost? It is actually 100% minus 15% minus 30%, which equals to 55%. So why do you need to find this portion, 55% of the building structure? Because you must find the depreciable amount for each component, since each component has different expected useful life that will lead to different amount of depreciation expense, right? So you have to find the depreciable amount based on the initial cost, right? Since it has different portion or different rate of percentage of the initial cost, so therefore you have to find each of these component depreciable amount. All right, so computation of depreciation. So let us look at the timeline first. You acquired the showroom on 1st April 2017. All right, so your accounting year end on 31st December 2017. All right, so you are required to calculate the depreciation expense for the year, right? So for the current year, right? So you bought your asset during the current year, which is 2017. All right, so your depreciation method is straight line method on monthly basis. So since it is on monthly basis, so you have to calculate the depreciation for the first year according to the month, right? So since you acquired the PPE on 1st April 2017 until 31st December 2017, it is actually 9 months. All right. So let us look at the calculation or the computation. So since you have three elements, like I said before in the previous slide, showroom, electrical system, and roof, right? So you have found out the portion of each component, right? Mentioned in the question is the electrical system and also the roof. But then in previous requirement, you have find that in the previous slide you have actually find the rate for the showroom. All right, so times 250,000. So 250,000 is the initial cost, right? Initial cost that you have find in previous requirement, right? So the depreciable 55% times 250,000 equals to 137,000. So this is the depreciable amount of the showroom building, right? 37,500 for the electrical system and 75,000 for the roof. All right. So workings to fund the depreciation expense. So the useful life is 20 years for the showroom. The electrical system is 5 years and the roof is 10 years. So it has they have different expected useful life. So you have to compute it accordingly, right? According to the useful life. So based on the depreciable amount, 137,000 divided by 20 years times 9 over 12, which equals to 5156. 37,500, the depreciable amount, divided by 5 years, the useful life times 9 over 12, which equals to 5625. And 75,000, the depreciable amount for the roof, divided by 10 years of expected life of roof, times 9 over 12 equals to 5625. And this is some like another situation of Cosmo, right? One of the Cosmos lorries was involved in accident and damage beyond repair, right? Damage beyond repair meaning to say that you cannot repair it anymore, right? So the management has decided to write off, okay, to write off the lorry in September 2017. Right, the lorry was purchased on 1st January 2014 at a cost of 52,000. Cosmo received a check, right, 15,000 from M&O Insurance as compensation. So depreciation is 10% per annum, straight line method, monthly basis. All right. So assess whether Cosmo can de-recognize the lorry in accordance with MFRS 116 PPE. Right, so according to MFRS 116 PPE, PPE can be de-recognized when it is disposed and when no future economic benefits are expected from its use or disposal. So in this case, the lorry is damaged beyond repair due to accident. Hence, no future economic benefits will be expected from its use, right? Therefore, you will de-recognize the lorry from its book. Right, so this is the answer, right? So this is the answer, the one in blue rectangle, right? So the first element that you need to mention in the question as your answer is the what's stated in the standard, right? So the first point is on this what's stated in the standard, the general statement in the standard, right? Okay, next, the situation that relates to what standards have stated, right? So the situation is like your situation is the lorry is damaged beyond repair, right? So hence no future economic benefit are expected, all right? And the third thing that you have to mention in your answer is your decision. So this is your decision, okay? So remember that you need to have these three elements of uh, three elements that you need to mention in your answer. So the first one is what the standard have stated, and then you have to relate to the situation mentioned in the question, and then the third element is your decision. Right, so advise the management of Cosmo Bahat on the accounting treatment of the disposal, right? So this is the disposal date on September 2017, right? On 1st January 2014. This is the acquisition date, and then you receive a check 15,000. So this is the disposal proceed, okay, and depreciation method. All right, so these are the information that was given to you. All right. So this is a calculation for before you can answer the accounting treatment. This is a calculation for the disposal of the lorry, right? So the cost is 52,000, right? Okay, this is the cost, 52,000. Accumulated depreciation, since you bought in 2014, a full accounting year, completed 1 year, starting from 2014 until 2016, which is 3 years, right? In the disposal occur in the current year, which happens during in September. So since it is based on monthly basis, you have to calculate for how many months that you use that particular lorry before you decided to write off. It is from January until September, so which equals to 9 months, right? So 9 divided by 12 equals to 0.75 years. So therefore, your accumulated depreciation is 52,000 times 10% the rate, right? Times 3.75 years, which equals to 19,500, right? So the carrying amount as at September 2017 is 32,500. Then you will compare to the disposal proceed mentioned in the question is 15,000. So therefore you will get loss on disposal. Why loss in the disposal? Because your carrying amount is more than the disposal proceed. All right, you will get loss on disposal. Alright, so this is accounting treatment actually. So the cost of 52,000 and accumulated depreciation of 19,500. That's why I show you the um, working just now, right? So since it will be easier for you to make the accounting treatment later, alright? So 90, the cost is 52,000, the accumulated depreciation is 19,500. All right. The cost of 52,000 and accumulated depreciation of 19,500 of the damaged lorry are to be removed from the company's book, right? So you need to remove these two elements, right? Which is the cost and also the accumulated depreciation. Right. For the second accounting treatment, the carrying value, right, of 32,500 is to be removed from the company's soft P, right? You can refer back to the previous slide to see how did you come out to this figure, right? How did you arrive to this figure? Next, the insurance money received of 15,000 is recognized as increase in the company's bank, right? Increase in the company's bank. Since you dispose the asset, you receive money, right? So this is the compensation money that you receive. So this is the disposal proceed of 15,000, right? And loss on disposal of 17,500 is recognized in the SOPA. See, see the elements that you need to include as part of your accounting treatment. All right. So that's all from me, right? Stay safe and be positive. We can get through this situation together. If you have any question to ask, please WhatsApp me. All right. Thank you very much and thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum.